When I was in school, one of my housemates was going to stay behind in the house while the rest of us were going away somewhere. And I had a plant in my room. I didn't want my plant to die. So I went to him and I was like, hey, can you take care of my plant while I'm away? He was a nice guy, so he's like, yeah, sure. I'll just bring it over and I'll water it. Well, one of the guys saw me bringing my plant to his room and said, where are you taking your plant? I said, well, this other guy's going to take care of it while I'm away. He's like, oh, that's a good idea. I've got one in my room. But by the end of the day, this guy's room looked like a greenhouse. Like all 20 of us came from every corner of the house, bringing every plant in the house, bringing it all to him and saying, here, you take care of this. Now, good for him, he actually did. When we came back, there was, beautiful plants waiting, still alive, but he was very clear, like, you need to come pick them up, get them out of my room, take them back. And I share this because today, St. Paul talks about this difference between people who plant and who water. Now, unlike my housemate, he's not talking about actual plants. He's using an analogy here. He's speaking about evangelization. He's speaking about sharing the gospel with people and the different roles that all of us play in that. Because Paul says, I planted, and then Apollos, this other guy who he was working with, Apollos watered, but it was God who gave the growth. And so this is a very good lesson for all of us to hear. Sometimes we think that evangelization is supposed to be done by the professionals. And by the professionals, they mean priests, nuns, and maybe, just maybe, people that officially work for the church as some kind of staff member, okay? But this is not actually the case, because anyone who looks at me knows that I'm not a professional at anything. So if the mission of the church is left up to me, it's not going to go very well, okay? We need to all be involved in this mission of proclaiming the gospel to people, of inviting them to know Jesus. So Paul says, I planted, but Apollos watered. I think one of the main reasons people think that priests are supposed to be doing all the evangelization is because we have all these cool stories of people that we've been able to bring God to. Right? A deathbed confession where right at the last moment someone surrenders to the Lord, or this sacramental moment where we're able to welcome people into the church and we're up here at the front baptizing them, or we're confirming them, and it's like, wow, yeah, they're having this really big moment of bringing this person into the church. But what you don't see is all of the people in their life that led them to that moment. The co-worker that invited them to come to church for the first time. Or the family member that kept encouraging them and praying them, sometimes for years, to come and experience the sacramental grace that God has for them. Or the person that was sharing their testimony with them and offering to pray for them. You don't see all the people behind, but those are exactly the kind of people that Paul is talking about. The people that plant that first seed. So many people that I have the great privilege as a priest of bringing kind of that over that last hurdle into the church. They talk about their parents, that when they were young, they planted that seed of faith in them. Even though sometimes they walk away, there's that initial seed that's planted. And they talk about the friends and the acquaintances and the co-workers and all the people that watered that seed, that in their own way intervened into that person's life. And sometimes those people aren't even aware of the great role that they played in this person's conversion. They might not know until eternity the impact that they played on that person's life. And so I say that to you to encourage you to plant seeds wherever you go, to share the love of Jesus wherever you go. And don't be discouraged if you don't see fruit right away, because your job might be to plant the seed. You might never see fruit in that person's life, as frustrating as it is, because you want to see fruit yesterday, like all of us do. Plant the seed anyway, because someone else is going to come along, maybe in a couple of years, and water that seed. But it's God who brings the increase. It's God who brings about the conversion of the human heart. All we do is we play our role in the different timelines that He allows us to intervene in. So plant seeds, water seeds, so that at the end of your life, when you enter, God willing, into the glory of heaven that is prepared for you, you will be able to meet many other people there who will say, you didn't know the impact that you made on me, but when you shared that word, when you invited me to Alpha, when you prayed for me, when you offered me your testimony, you made an impact. You planted the seed, you watered the seed that allowed me to experience Jesus, which is why I'm here now. This is the great work of evangelization that you can take part in. So be encouraged, be zealous in this, to plant and water the seeds that God ultimately brings growth in.